Hello everyone. We are back on this channel. I have not been here in a while. How long has it actually been? Let's take a look-see. Is any YouTube? Let's take a look at how long it's been since I have been on this specific channel. God, it's mental because my other channel has way more subscribers than this one does. Okay. It has been a month since I uploaded on this channel. I'm so sorry. But as everyone knows, and everyone has been taking delight in the last couple months, well, I mean, we've all been getting pretty annoyed seeing it. I need to fix my hair. Sorry, I completely forgot to, because I wasn't going to record this and I only found out about it, but I want to record it because I'm like, oh my god. Ethan Klein has been very much going through a decline recently. Like, especially recently. He's been going through a decline for a very, very long time. But especially recently, he started, like, kind of going insane, really. That's how I would describe it. He has come after so many, like, creators and just bullied a bunch of people recently that I have seen. Like, I haven't seen everything, but I remember Mika's rhetoric. He came after her and basically just bullied her for valid criticisms. And I was going to make a video on that, but I didn't have time when that happened. When was that? YouTube. Let's take a look-see.
If you're constantly...
Not that. Sorry. Ethan Klein and Mika's rhetoric. She uploaded that a month ago. Yeah. He came after her, about a month ago now. For very, very valid criticisms. But now, guess who's he's come after? Markiplier. He said Markiplier's a psychopath. Okay, so we're gonna look at that in a moment. I have a video pulled up here. I just need to take a listen to it really, really quickly. Okay, let me go back to this. Basically, I don't know when this was actually. Let me look at the date. 2 days ago, apparently. Probably more than that, honestly. Ethan Klein was, I believe, on live. It was possibly pre-recorded. I don't know how he works this stuff. But he called Markiplier a psychopath, as well as, him and his wife called Markiplier a psychopath, and basically just said a bunch of weird things, which honestly was really unhinged, I believe. Personally, that's what I believe. So we're gonna look at that really, really quickly. Yeah. But here is the clip on the Snark Reddit.
Cringe. Okay. How did people not... I've never seen this guy. I've never heard of him. How did people not call him out for faking this voice? It is so fake. And by the way, I'm going to go on record right now, and I'm going to say the same fucking thing about Markiplier. He fakes his voice from the beginning. That is not what he sounds like. Find a video of him younger. I haven't, but I'm telling you.
Find a video of him younger. I haven't. How do you know he sounds different then? Also, everyone's voice sounds different when they're younger. It's called going through puberty. What are you expecting, dude? I need to make sure my audio didn't change because my headphone wire fell. But if you look for any video of anyone when they're younger, their voice is going to sound different. Because you go through changes, especially men. Well, not especially men in that way, but you know what I mean. Men's voices change drastically over the years. So he is obviously going to sound different when he was younger. And also saying that that he fakes his voice, but you don't have proof. Why say that on the record if you don't have any evidence? That is just stupid and lining yourself up to get this hate. Which I feel like you kind of want at this point, because you have been on a fucking, how do you say it? On a roll with getting this stuff out.
I'm right.
Well,
but I'm telling you, he has the same voice. He's faking it. He is faking his fucking voice. There's no question in my mind. I was right about him, and I was right about Markiplier. Markiplier's psychotic like that. Like, he's a fucking psycho. You could tell.
He's a fucking psycho. Okay, now, while I will say, I'm not necessarily a Markiplier fan. The only things I really watch from him anymore is his Five Nights at Freddy stuff, because I like that stuff. But I don't really watch his other videos anymore. I'm more into Jacksepticeye. So, like, I'm not, like, gonna go on the record full on defending Markiplier, because I don't know if Markiplier's done anything. I don't have proof that he hasn't done anything or that he has. Neither does Ethan. Ethan is just coming after everyone at this point with no evidence. Like, he came after Hassan for not, like, seeing things differently than how he sees them. Because Hassan is a Democrat, he's a liberal. But Ethan, like, and Hassan's content is mainly supporting Palestine. Ethan is very much against that. We have seen that in content before. He's very much against that. So he came after Hassan after they ended the Leftovers podcast because they got into a huge fight over it, basically. So he, like, basically started, like, just going at Hassan. And now, like, he has come after so many creators the last couple of months since that podcast ended. Like, he is, like, on a downward fucking spiral right now. And saying someone is a psycho, like, I'm not going to say that's the worst thing you can say about someone, because, like, I mean, there are far worse allegations than that. But, like, just saying someone is anything without any proof to back it up, you are setting yourself up to get hate at this point.
And so he is someone that can
Wait, hold on.
to
What?
You
faking
can
his
absolutely
voice.
You can just tell.
You can absolutely tell.
Thank
Okay.
you for backing it. So he is a
And of course his wife backs him up. Fucking freaks.
psycho, and he is capable of doing something that extreme, of faking his deep voice for like 20 plus years. He annoys me because
It's just
because of his voice, and because people like him and nobody else sees it like I do.
Because people like him. Is it because nobody likes you anymore? The only people that like you are fucking far-right extremists now. Because you showed your true colors. This is who you truly are. So the only people who like you are people who are like you, and I honestly feel bad for everyone who works with you. Don't feel bad for your wife. Because she clearly sees things the exact same way that you do. But everyone you work with who show support for things like Palestine and, like, just anything that you do not support, I feel bad for them. Like, genuinely.
And also, he unfollowed me because I fucking tweeted a green pie.
Here's the truth. I was gonna point you in that direction.
I'm
You
not
didn't
the
bring it
only
up
one.
yourself.
Listen,
Okay, so from what I get from that, he is coming after Markiplier now because Markiplier unfollowed him. Ethan, people can unfollow you. I don't follow you. I know I'm not an important person. But people can unfollow you. I've been unfollowed. I don't care. Because guess what? Followers are not the most important thing. If Markiplier follows you or not, who the fuck cares? Who cares? How many fucking subscribers does he have? On the H3 podcast, we'll check first. H3 podcast. Oh, his life is falling apart. That's your own fucking fault, dude. H3 podcast, 2.77 million subscribers. They have obviously lost subscribers in the past years. Their views, 600,000 and up on that part. Videos, 500,000. Members only videos. They have members. Live, yeah, 600,000 and up. Like, he's acting like Markiplier unfollowing him is the end of the fucking world here. It's not.
listen, I'm not the only one. I know there's Markiplier haters out there.
Yeah, because
Join my
everyone
new
has
snark.
haters.
We'll find each other. We'll turn it into a movie.
I thought you were against Snark. Isn't that why you're trying to get the Snark against you taken down? You know, by copywriting them, going after them with the law, even though you fought so hard for fair use.
Marcus Snarka-flyer.
See, people in the chat were already calling it. Ethan's just mad Markiplier blocked him. He didn't even block him.
Yeah,
He
I'm
just-
mad about that.
He just
He
like
muted me. Same thing. That's even worse than a block. That's like
Okay, so basically admitting to why you're calling Markiplier a psychopath. Because he muted you. Are you going to call everyone in the fucking world who mutes you a psychopath? Because that's just weird.
Silence, peasant.
Honestly, I wish Markiplier said that to you.
I'm just saying, Snarkiplier. That's my new subreddit, guys. Let's get it going.
Oh God.
We will make our
There's
message
dozens
known.
of you.
I think
There's
somebody
dozens
should
of you.
create a subreddit called Markiplied, and it's about people that change their voice.
Mark reapplied.
And we can include Hassan in there. We can include Pirate Guy.
You know, so when people defend Hila, she's literally exactly the same as Ethan. Like, legitimately, she's the exact same as him. So, no, I'm not going to defend her. She is completely backing him up on this.
Okay.
I'm sure there's more.
Well, we're waiting this whole scandal.
Okay.
Mark
He did something
just
much
annoying.
worse.
He just annoyed me
He let
specifically.
his teammate
But
die
I
in
thought
World of Warcraft.
this subreddit is just about the voice.
I'm looking at chat. And there's not one fucking person in this chat that's like, "Oh yeah, Markiplier's annoying." That annoys me.
Because he's not annoying. Like, from what we've seen, obviously there could be stuff behind the scenes that nobody knows. But from what we've seen, he's a good guy. Like, genuinely, from what I have seen personally, he seems like a good guy. So, like, that's why nobody calls him annoying or hates on him, really. Like, there obviously are haters against him, because they, like, most of the time, if people are hating on you, especially if you're, like, a big YouTuber like Markiplier, because Markiplier has how many subscribers? Markiplier. Mark has 37 million subscribers. Hey, maybe that's another reason Ethan's coming after him, because he doesn't have as many subscribers. But, like, one of the big reasons that people hate on YouTubers is because they're jealous of the life they have. Markiplier has built such an amazing life for himself. He even said, in an interview once, I can't remember when it was, but, like, he said that he had made a certain amount of money a year. I can't remember exactly how much. I think it was like 38, 39 million or something like that. And he said he doesn't use all that money, so he gives it to friends in need and charities and stuff. That is something a good guy does, because he doesn't post about it either. I don't like when people post about the charities they donate, because it just feels like you're trying to make money off of donating to a charity. So, no, I'm not going to come after Markiplier unless there is actually something valid with evidence to come after him for.
That's what annoys me. Don't you guys see?
But I don't know how many of these people have even been through the Markiplier era.
Cringe.
Okay. Been through the Markiplier era. And then Ethan uses Instagram stories to take aim at critical Reddit posts. It's truly baffling that he focuses on any kind of criticism that gains even the slightest bit of momentum. I personally cannot imagine having as much money and success as he does, and still care about the opinions of people on the internet. Also, the posts he is attacking included documented proof from YouTube drama moderators. The H3 main moderators are breaking site rules and have reported to admins. So in this, he goes, /r YouTube drama. Genuinely, who are these people? Ethan Klein and the video we just watched. So yeah. But yeah, it's literally just because Markiplier unfollowed him. Let's read under here. The who are these people doesn't hit the same when you are the one finding these posts on your own and replying to them. This is what happens when you break your brain defending Zionism. He reacts to everything except to false copyright accusations, which we will also get into soon. There's an Adam McIntyre video on that I want to look at. And Destiny being a sexual predator. And Elon's Siege Hail. And any of Petty Page's videos, and the Honey scandal, and Jimmy Lee accusations. Someone said at least he finally got over Trisha. He probably didn't. He's probably going to come after her soon. Again. Yeah. Like, it's just weird. Like, I genuinely don't see the point on doing this. Like, genuinely. So, Adam McIntyre has a video on Ethan Klein that I want to look at. If I can find it. I have not lined this up. This one. We're gonna watch this. From 2 weeks ago. I believe he was in New York when he filmed this. So I'm going to speed it up a tad. We're also going to bring it up to... Okay, I can't. Playback speed will go 1.5. Yeah, this is Adam McIntyre's video on Ethan Klein is trying to silence people who don't agree with him. Basically, from what I gathered from it, he is like false copyright claiming and like striking Redditors on because they're posting clips, even though Ethan had previously stated at some point that he was opening his IP address or whatever the fuck it was. I don't know. So that people could like upload his clips and make a bit of money off his clips, because he was like, I'm inspired by Hassan. And then him and Hassan stopped being friends. And now he's completely revoked that, except he didn't publicly revoke it. He just started false copyright striking people.
Hi muckers, welcome back to my
I need to turn this up for myself. Hold up. And I will also turn on captions.
YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing very, very, very well. And welcome to really our first video of 2025. I uploaded a video a couple days ago and I kind of talked about the fact that the start of the year has not been the greatest yet, but this is really the kickoff of like content for us. So let's have a fun year. Let's be messy and let's do all of the rest. I'm super excited. I'm currently here in LA, obviously the different background. I was in New York for New Year's, and before I go home, I just decided to pop into LA, get some sunshine, and it's a beautiful day here, and there's some really exciting people I'm filming with over this trip, and yeah, there's just a lot of really fun stuff going on, so I hope you're all going very well. Also, I can now confirm that we are adding and we're doing shows as well. But with this specific one, I honestly didn't believe it, and I was like, there's no way that like H3 would be like dumb enough to do. Specific one, call me names all the time. I made a YouTube video, and yeah, opening night is in. But anyways, let's talk about what is going on. So, a couple weeks ago, I made a YouTube video, and it was called, like, Ethan Klein needs to address this, or some BS like that. And it was a video that was about the fact that, allegedly, and I kept saying this in the video, because in the video I kept reiterating over and over and over again that I don't believe that Ethan would do this, I don't believe that H3 would do this. Again, you know I have a very complex history with it, you know that Ethan loves to call me names all the time. We have a very complex relationship, if you will. But with this specific one, I honestly didn't believe it, and I was like, there's no way that, like, H3 would be, like, dumb enough to do this, because of what they've stood for in the past. So,
Not even, like, all of H3, in my opinion. It's Ethan and his like very, very close buddies who work with him who are doing this, and Hila. It's them. It's not even all of H3. We have seen that all of H3 doesn't support what Ethan is doing, but they cannot say that to him or they could get fired.
So my video, I kept saying this is alleged, this is alleged, this is alleged, and I also kept saying over and over and over again, if Ethan comes out and disproves this, or he speaks out against it or whatever, like, I'll delete my video. I will also, you know, completely retract the fact that I, you know, was voicing what these people were saying on the H3 Snark, on Reddit. I basically just kept over and over and over again saying, like, I will give Ethan all these, you know, times to just kind of shut this down, and I will, you know, shut this story down on my end. And again, I honestly just didn't believe that H3 would do what they allegedly have done. And so there was no response at all. And I was a little bit like, huh, because I feel like, you know, Ethan loves the chance of coming for me, so I was like, he would enjoy disproving me, but that never happened. And if anything, on their show yesterday, I was just sent a clip where they're, you know, coming for Mika's rhetoric, and Ethan brings up my video reacting to Mika, and like kind of comes to me a little bit, but it's kind of like a joke, and then Olivia and Dan kind of shut it down, and then they didn't speak about me again. So I thought they were then going to address the video that I made on what they're allegedly doing with the Snark, but that didn't happen at all. And we've like gone past the time of when they would normally address something like this, so I'm like, damn. But the H3 Snark have, and oh my god, you guys, I've seen it. This post has only been up for like overnight. I wake up to so many spam texts, and I'm like, I see it, y'all. Thank you for tagging me. I see it. But basically, there's a big update now whenever it just came to H3, you know, allegedly sending like these copyright things to the H3 Snark and trying to silence them and trying to not have them re-upload clips. And it's just, it's really bad on the basis that like H3, we're such a pioneer in fighting for fair use, you know, re-uploading content, talking about content. I mean, that's their full show. And if people like or don't like H3, they will always credit them in this lawsuit. And I remember specifically whenever Frenemies was happening, Trisha was talking about wanting to like strike down people on like Reddits and stuff like that. And Ethan was so firmly telling her, don't do that. Like, why would you do that? You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be I remember,
you know, like, I'm pretty sure it was Ethan who like made the way for commentary YouTubers to be able to be considered for, like, to be able to react to other people's videos. Cause like, he like got sued for like reacting to someone's video but it wasn't like transformative enough or something in that YouTuber's eyes, and he won that suit. So yeah,
it was like a YouTube channel that was like making allegations against her. Ethan was like, do not strike them down, you don't want to go down that route. So that's why I'm like, why would H3 do this? Because they have been the people that will always be outspoken against this. But it's not looking great, because not only have H3 and Ethan not responded to the full post from the Snark, which was blowing up online, but they also didn't respond to my video. And the only reason I'm saying that, not that they have to respond to my video, they've responded to videos that have gotten way less views from me. They've came at me for things that I've covered that have had, you know, way less views. So I'm like, they obviously know this is happening, and I can't believe it.
They're not going to respond to it because they know they're in the wrong. Ethan's not going to respond because he knows that he has no way out of that one. He responds to the things that he thinks, even in the slightest, that he can get out of. He can't get out of that one.
I'm actually a little bit shocked. So let's get into what's happening. So we have this post from the H3 Snark, and I'm gonna go through it. How long has this been up for? 9 hours, you guys. 9 hours, and my phone has been blown up from this. I see it. I see it. My goodness. Like a little guardian angel.
Yeah, you can use that code if you want to, but I am just gonna skip past the ad.
Drink in the mini fridge because I'm quite parched. BRB. Okay, I don't know what the hell this.
Okay, hold up.
That H3 come out and disprove this because again, it really goes against a lot of what they stand for and what they get praised for. But it's not looking great, if I'm being honest. So let's read this post. This is from H3 Snark Mod Team 4. I wonder if that's their legal name. Confirmed. Ethan Klein hired an attorney to issue copyright claims against r/H3 Snark. Okay, on the 17th of December 2024, the H3 Snark mods were sent evidence that an attorney acting on behalf of TED Entertainment Incorporated had been filing DMCA takedown notices against videos on the subreddit. An op whose post clips were removed by Reddit's legal operations team submitted an intellectual property inquiry with Reddit's legal support and sent us screenshots and a PDF copy of Reddit's response. Now, again, Ethan allegedly coming for the H3 Snark is incredibly ironic to me because we all have Snarks, and Ethan knows that we all have Snarks because for so long when he would film H3, the Trishy Land Snark, arguably one of the worst, about Trisha Paytas was always on his recommended. And ironically, the H3 Snark is always there too. What's Ethan H3 said about clipping his videos in the past? On January 25th, 2023, Ethan announced on air that he was opening up the H3 IP to the world after being inspired by Hassan Piker and, Hassan's industrial complex. He was excited that the clips from his non-members and members-only content could possibly help others gain some financial stability and even give them a chance to grow their own YouTube channels. H3 talked about how excited they were about opening up their IP on the show more than once. So I just want to quickly look at these clips.
Opening our IP
Oh, that's one thing about a Snark Reddit. They'll use your own words against you.
to the world. This is a message with peace and love.
You can now make your own H3 podcast. That's right, everyone.
I guess you
Know what you
could.
mean?
That's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. No.
Gotcha.
You can't make a fake H3 podcast, although you probably could actually, because I don't think anyone would mistake it.
I mean, if it's a parody, you can
yeah,
do whatever you want.
anyone would mistake it. So our IP is open. I got inspired by Hassan.
Yeah, so that's what I was talking about earlier. He opened up his IP and then he started, so that people could upload clips from the podcast without getting claimed or anything. To YouTube and stuff, and they could start making their own money because Hassan does that. And it's incredibly amazing that Hassan does that. That's awesome. But, Ethan and Hassan stopped being friends fairly recently. It was a couple months ago. I also do apologize for, anything that happens with my voice or because I keep sniffling. I am unfortunately getting sick because my sisters decided to bring home a disease. But yeah, him and Hassan stopped being friends, and a little bit after that he started, I believe it was a little bit after that, it could have been before that, I might be wrong. I believe that's when he started claiming and striking people who were using clips.
He has the Hassan Industrial Complex. So I want the Ethan Industrial Complex. I think it's a good idea. I like it.
This drink sucks.
Yeah, I think it's really cool.
And it's actually crazy how many people are seemingly making a decent living from having their own clips channels of him.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to cut up clips from the podcast, from our members live, from anything,
And all the comments are loving it.
with
Also I want to point out that he says in this, because in a few minutes Adam's going to read more of the Reddit post, but in this he literally just said the members live. So I just want to make that clear. He said in the members live, you can cut up clips from that. My phone holder is not working with me right now. Okay, hold on, I need to check something real quick. Okay, we're good. Okay,
me in it.
but just keep that in
Go for
mind.
it and monetize it. I will not claim. I will not remove. I will not do anything. I mean, to be fair, it's basically been my policy. I don't claim or remove anything really at
Yeah,
all.
and now you're making it explicit.
Yeah. The only time I'll remove something is if it's just a wholesale re-uploading of an episode. And we
Yeah.
used to have that big problem when we were on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
If you're re-uploading just full VODs, then that you cannot do.
So basically, if someone re-uploads the entire podcast,
If you're cutting highlights, yes. If you're just re-uploading a video, it's stupid, obviously. Yeah.
okay, great. Well, not great. No,
Yeah,
what we
that's
know now.
understandable.
So that was the first one, and then this one says H3 talked about how excited they were to open up their IP.
Yeah. H3. Here is H3 Industry hard at work with 2 videos, 2 subscribers. Let's go. Get in there, boy. Maybe fights the security.
Because ultimately, someone re-uploading clips from your things, even if they're making money, at the end of the day, they are just promoting your stuff, which is
Yeah.
great in theory. But obviously, there's an issue whenever they're re-uploading it on a snark page. And here's the thing: I have snarks too. You know what I mean? Like we all have a snark. We all have a snark. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You gotta let the people do what they gotta do. It's only fair. You can't have a podcast coming for people and then be pissed when people come for you. That's why, like, as hard as it can be at times, I'm just like, right, people can come for me because I come for people. Let's be fair. In the sense that if you kick
Security card, not clickbait. And Prince Harry oscillates what?
So they're long clips too.
Those are good. You approve?
Good start, good start.
A Tadja? My Willy Wally.
Watching a wiener.
Have you heard the Prince?
Oh, I just
All right. Okay. Wait.
to go back to that other subject for real quick. What we were talking about was years ago at this point.
Oh, decades
and
ago.
Somebody was saying so many things are laced with fentanyl today.
Okay.
Okay.
And then they talk about it more than once.
Their IP, and there are starting to be
Yeah.
channels who are uploading content
I started noticing.
and they're getting views, and I'm very happy. I love that for them. So
This is why I'm just surprised that they would do this. And here's the thing: I feel
Yeah.
like there's so many things to call H3 out for, and I've tried to give them the benefit of the doubt with this one, even though my
You know, because like later on in the Reddit post, I will just skip to that point. Like here, it says Ethan never publicly announced that he was closing up his IP address. I am so sorry for that frame.
air and via Instagram stories
Okay, Adam, we need a
that
good
he
frame
was
here.
going to start DMCAing all members' content.
That's the best I can give you. But yeah, he never publicly announced that he was closing up his IP or that he would strike clips of publicly accessible non-members' H3 content. So, but yeah, also up here it says almost exactly a year later, Ethan made another announcement on air and via Instagram stories that he was going to start DMCAing all members' content and warned creators using members-only clips that they should remove those clips if they don't want to strike against their channel. He said that that was because it was not fair for members who are paying for it to be shared publicly.
And warned
Which,
creators
understandable.
using members-only clips
That's
that
fair.
they should remove those clips if they don't want to strike on their YouTube channel. The video chapter in the episode is even titled SYNT Highlights, referring exclusively to members-only content. Ethan said he felt it was unfair that content intended for paying members was being shared by clip channels for free. Ethan never publicly announced that he was closing up his IP or that he would strike clips of publicly accessible non-members H3 content. This drink is making me so gassy.
Okay, I don't care if the drink is making you gassy. I also don't necessarily care about that. I need him to get into the other thing. But yeah, basically, I'm just gonna, stop that. Ethan basically started Mika's rhetoric. He started striking clips of the H3 podcast without Ethan Klein. Without saying that they were closing up the IP, so people were still uploading clips. He was getting them striked, even though he had said publicly that you could upload clips. He wasn't going to strike or claim. So, that's what he did. Now we're going to look at the Mika's rhetoric video, because I just want to show you. Also, this is what he did with the thumbnail for this one. So, yeah. Also, the other guy in the thumbnail in this video had very, very good reason to start talking about Ethan. So, we're just gonna go into this one really quickly. And then I think we will all see that Ethan just has a habit of coming after people for no good reason, just because they're criticizing him, or in Markiplier's case because he unfollowed and muted Ethan.
Hi everyone, it's me again, and today I'm genuinely
1.5.
the most terrified I've ever been, ever talking about anything, ever. And I wish that was a joke, but alas, here we are. So today we're going to be talking about H3, and I'm just going to talk about my feelings, my thoughts, the complexities, where I've been. Maybe I felt like I've been too complacent in certain things. I felt like I've, maybe run a little bit too much defense, and where my thoughts are now, and kind of my perception on the general audience perception, how things have changed. And yeah, everything's looking good, look pale as hell.
Okay, basically, we're looking at this to see if there is, I am going to come out and say if there is something that, Ethan had a right to come after, obviously. But if there is something that he didn't have a right to come after and it was just valid criticism, then we will see what kind of person Ethan truly is, because he is showing his true colors at this point.
I think my makeup looks like Doki. I don't have a lot of notes. I just finished work, also, obviously, because everything has to be good. These are my little, very short, just like one page little iPad note moments. So pray for me, I guess, in advance. Links to my channel, all that kind of stuff, all down below, including the link to my wonderful, beautiful patrons and members. Names on the screen. Also, while I'm at it, because, this might be the end of my days anyway. I'm about to hit 50,000 subscribers. So if you could be so
Oh yeah, the reason she said this might be the end of my days anyway is because when a lot of people come after Ethan online, that's basically the end of their career. Because his fans, like his diehard fans, the ones that are still his fans, they will come after you for literally anything. Like a lot of them were coming after Mika for the way that she looked, including Ethan actually. I'm pretty sure someone said that. I could be wrong about that part, but a lot of his fans were coming after her because of the way she looks, and I was like, girl, how about you show your fucking face online then?
kind as to perhaps participate in such events, that'd be really sick. That'd be really nice of you. Yeah, I never ever bring that up because I think it's weird. I think even being called a content creator is weird, especially because I work like a people job. People job, yeah, as I'm not a person, but anyway, you know what I mean. So yeah, participate in the student loan paying trade. That's where we're at. Now, no parts of the video I'm gonna maybe chapter it just based off of like different points, or I'm not gonna chapter it at all. I don't really know. So I'm gonna chapter
she
these
did
I know that
chapter it.
so
I'm gonna go
let's get
past
right into
the
news,
disclaimers
just like and my student teaching internships.
just to
So
get
that's
into
why I'm
this.
saying these things in advance, okay? Now, I have the lineup of how I think this started from the inception of the podcast to now. So this will be, I guess, a chapter. I'll talk now, my disclaimer, my politics, and then whatever, okay? And if people think that I'm weak in that regard as well, I understand, honestly. And I also have like a pretty, bring my mental health is very silly, but again, I just want to be honest, right? I have a pretty intense anxiety disorder, and the only time I've contemplated quitting the internet with like certainty was in reference to discussing Ethan Klein before, and I was treated in a way that maybe allegedly in Minecraft could be considered harassment, because they were making an account where they're dedicated to like saying all this stuff about me and how evil I am, and then they were DMing people that I'd worked with on other videos that I was this horrible, evil, morally corrupt individual, and all this stuff. When we talk about
Yeah, that's the
inception
kind
of
of thing
podcast,
his fans
it was
do.
not responded to well for a long time, and this has been discussed by many different videos at length, including. So I was watching. I always know that I'm right when I have the opposite opinion of Nicholas Diorio, because I was watching Ethan
That
Klein's
is
video,
fair.
or the H3 podcast episode about, and I haven't watched it in like a year, so this was like shocking to see these like vast differences, different setup, different show, everything like that. Chatting in about Dan Clancy or whatever, like the CEO of Twitch, and being like, oh, Ethan's gonna get all the tankies. So, but I was like, man, when I'm watching it, I'm having trouble getting through it because I'm just cringing so hard. And then my bestie comes in and is like, you're slaying. I'm like, okay, so I'm right. Anyway, when the podcast came out, a lot of people criticized Ethan for being really unprofessional. There was also a lot of really famous clips that came out of there, such as Ethan Klein being like, I love you, say the N-word, and then just saying the N-word a bunch of times. The clip with Joji saying that women were, at the time, was still doing stuff on the internet, I think, as Filthy Frank, saying that women were made to be submissive to men.
Or apes or whatever, right? Our Neanderthal cousins were probably just like crazy. So there's definitely something like in us to like conquer men more like.
Right.
So it's, you know, women are in a nature setting like to be conquered.
There was also the clip where Ethan Klein was talking about Jewish people in Israel and commenting on their hygiene and commenting on some things that should not have been commented on in the way that they were.
The Jew, well, and I mean, Ashkenazi Jews were all inbred. That's why we all have all these
Really?
neurological diseases.
Holy shit.
Because back in the day, we had our little village and we fucking ran around in our little suits,
Like
and
Amish.
nobody wanted us, so we're like, well, each other. And to be honest, they're like stinky suit. We're like, bro, you have to be very generous to fuck Hasidic Jew, right?
How would I know?
No.
Oh, well,
I'll
I'll
say to that.
I mean, well, I've lived in Israel for 5 years, so they wear the suits, they got the hats, they don't shower nearly enough. When it's a million degrees outside, they rock the black suit. They stink.
Yeah, this was his old content, by the way. This is the shit that he used to post. I believe it was before, like, I think Mika's going to talk about it in a minute, but I believe it was before he started the Frenemies podcast with Trisha Paytas, because her viewers are a lot more left-leaning than what Ethan's were back then. So, like, if he had, like, that's when he started getting called out for saying certain things, because of the fact that he had gained a lot more left-leaning viewers. So he stopped making content like this.
Stink, bro, they stink. And you know they don't shave. You seen their face? Imagine what their dicks look like.
Wait, I always thought those were like fake.
No,
No.
Those are real?
Those aren't extensions.
Those are real.
No, they're all.
That is commitment. Oh, I guess, you know, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it.
Their faces look so gnarly. So imagine what these dudes look naked, and they're all pretty fat too, because you know that wife's at home cooking. That's all she does.
Not all fat.
Well, a lot of the ones you see are pretty chunky.
Look at the picture. Yeah, let's see this.
Yeah,
I'm
fat,
gonna judge about hot day.
hairy. You asked for it.
So those clips were already coming out. And then also there was criticism that the podcast was boring. I remember the episodes with just Ela and Ethan being quite boring back then, especially that the guests were kind of all that it was. So, and people were really upset that they were no longer making the H3 Productions videos, which were their most popular and most liked content to this day. Progressively, as Ethan Klein started hiring more people, you started getting kind of like a co-host dynamic almost. So it's like you have now Dan, the producer, you have Ian, you have Zach. That was the crew for a long time. Circa 2020, whatever. You hired they hired AB and Lena, who are both Lebanese, and it's going to become relevant soon. Then you also have the hiring, who were also fans of Ethan's. He hired AB because AB ran defense for him when another creator named Gokanaru made a really long, pretty okay actually, like I remember liking it even back then, hit piece on Ethan Klein. And then AB ran defense for him as Starkiller with like a mask on or whatever on a video, and he hired AB and hired Lena as personal assistant. Then you get also hiring Cameron Grants, who was making memes on their subreddit a lot to do design work, hiring Sam, who used to be dating Ian, to do graphic design stuff for him and set design, that kind of stuff. Then you have hiring of another fan, Olivia, who does writing. I'm sneering because I'm just trying to remember like what because she kind of does everything. So I'm trying to remember her role. She seems to do research and writing stuff mostly.
You know, from what I have seen, like I've only watched them. Like I think I only watched them during the Colleen stuff. But from what I saw, it was Olivia who did all the work for that. She put everything together, and she had to keep on like getting Ethan back on track.
Then you have also the hiring of Swedish, another fan, Love, who does social media. I think that's right. Yeah, so Olivia does, is that everybody? Now there's a new guy named Nathan or something. No idea who he is. Anyway, as they hire these people, and a lot of them being quite young, a lot of them being like Gen Z. I think Love and I are like born the same year, born a couple months apart. I'm 24, by the way. You start having these like, I found, you start getting a lot more of these people who are much more progressive, politically progressive, and ideologically progressive than Ethan. AB and Lena. Because Zach, so Ian doesn't say shit. Like, Ian's like hiding, okay? So we don't know about Ian. But you have, and then Dan seems to, I think Dan is very left-leaning. But Dan also doesn't respond to criticism well. So when he has maybe more maybe socially conservative to a certain degree, like opinions on things, and then people push back, he, like Ethan, will kind of view it as the entire left's opinion on this entire subject and then just be pushed away. And then Zach, I would say, is somewhat on the more socially conservative side. This is just how I'm gauging them. I could be completely wrong. This is a discussion again. So, but what I'm saying is that environment was pretty stable in a sort of awakened centrist / center-left vibe, right? Now when you start hiring AB and Lena, who are Lebanese, who have been affected by a lot of these conflicts in the Middle East, even though I think they're both born in the United States, but Lena's parents, for example, were recently in Lebanon, etc. Olivia, who seems to be quite progressive and is very, ideologically and socially left-leaning. I don't know what Love's doing. He doesn't say much. Cameron also seemed to be a pretty progressive person. Sam as well. So you started having this sort of environment that was fostering these ideas more openly. And when you have your researcher, who is a sort of kind of left-leaning person, and AB as well was also doing research, you start to your content begins to tilt. And then you get to the debate era where Ethan Klein was debating Pearl from Just Pearly Things. He debated the guy who's claimed that he cured Tourette's. There was also the debate that he debated Fresh and Fit, I believe, at some point. There was, which I didn't watch that. I think I already checked out at that point. There was also, there were just a bunch of a lot of the beginning were people I didn't really know. I think I can't remember all of them. But anyway, there was these debates, right? And then streamer Hassan Piker was reacting to them because it was the same sort of universe of content creators that he was against himself. From the debates of the Red Pill guys, where a lot of the defenses tend to have to be these kind of left-leaning ideology, Ethan Klein presented to a more left-leaning audience. And left-leaning audiences really like to watch people get dunked on like that. I think the very first one, which involved Hassan as well, was actually talking to Aiden Ross about gambling. So now you get the show Leftovers, which ended essentially right after the events that occurred on October 7th, which has kind of led to a lot of the downfall. But I think something that a lot of people were not considering was there was quite a few small spikes that began hitting people. And I don't want to reveal the exact comments that I found, so you can take my word for it or you can not, just because I don't even want to start getting into like any of the identities on Snark Reddit or any of that kind of stuff, because Ethan's gonna go fuck wild on that if it ever gets anywhere. I've been reading, like, there was a post about being a fallen fan, which is what Ethan Klein refers to people who no longer like his content. I guess technically by that design, I would also be a fallen fan. But the juxtaposition that Ethan Klein often puts towards fallen fans are people who are like borderline neo-Nazis. Like these sort of people who really liked conservative content, they liked anti-SJW stuff, they really hated leftists, they whatever. That was who he used to position mainly as these like fallen fans. But now you have fallen fans that are those left-leaning people, which now Ethan Klein often refers to as extremists, which is being often quite inappropriately used. So a lot of the people brought up these other instances besides the recent, what people are referring to as the Hassan Piker crash out, which I'll get into soon.
Okay, I just have to say, I literally just noticed it now. I love the diamonds that are in her background. That's so cute. I just started on my other channel a modded Minecraft survival world where we're, like, the video is going to be up. I think it just went up today, actually. Today's the it's fucking 12 a.m. now. Went up yesterday, the 28th of January. I don't know when this video is going to be up, probably tomorrow. But yeah, we're going to be adding new mods to that every time we play, so.
And I want to go through those events to remind people what they were, to sort of maybe place people in where they started feeling a disconnect with the content. So the first thing I could think of, which is not something that many people really brought up, and this is going to sound really crazy to come out of my mouth, but the prolapse fixation is an issue. It is. She's an issue. For one, you have the issue of, that's kind of gross. So what happened with this is it started with Howie Mandel just raw posting a prolapse on TikTok, where it was someone prolapsing through a pair of shorts or something, and he was like, what's going on? Is this COVID or something? So it became a meme because everybody's like, Howie Mandel, the known like germaphobe or whatever, plus like just beloved TV host, just not having any idea what he's looking at. He says he thought he sat on something, which I guess kind of makes sense in context because there's no other universe where Howie Mandel would just be doing that. It was like a boomer gets TikTok moment, and it was quite wholesome and funny, right? But then what ended up happening was Ethan Klein became obsessed with this and started showing this to everybody, the TikTok everybody and stuff. But then also got involved with this sex worker named Hunger FF, who was really famous for utilizing his prolapse rear end to make content. And what he would do is he would sit people down and force them to watch this content when they were being interviewed by him. So he did to Howie, which I guess sort of contextually makes sense. I think he might have had him do it in person, which is even worse. Then he showed, so I mean, I guess to a certain degree you can go, yeah, that's like the joke, right? Like that was the guy who did it. But why was he showing Stavros? Why was his name? I think that's how you pronounce it. Why Brittany Broski have to watch this?
I just sent it. This is the video I was saying I was worried that you were going to show, and you were like, I wouldn't show that.
Why would I do that? What kind of psycho do you think I am? All right, you're not showing the screen, right, Ian?
Show me.
Yeah, well, if I show this at home, I'd be banned on all.
Well, girl, we're halfway there.
All right, so it's only a minute long. Okay. It says,
It's amazing. It's a second.
yeah. But maybe you can bail whenever you want, but it gets better towards the end. So it says, is this COVID related? Yeah.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Wait, did you not see this either?
No, I didn't.
You did it?
What?
Wait. Look. Why don't make me look at this by myself?
This like actually. Oh,
No, stop. You're crazy.
oh that's making me gag, bitch.
That's actually our friend of the show, Hunger FF.
I love hunger.
Why are we making Auntie Pantano see this?
That's literally just disgusting. Like, I know they were all laughing, but like, that's no.
Right? Why is this being forced? This is not comfortable content. This is not. They're not really consenting to this a lot of the time. I feel like there's definitely like a element of feeling like a coercion because of the interview space, and the crew will often push back on this as well. There's also the event, and this leans into the next thing too, which some people refer to as bonding, where linking to this prolapse thing too, people have really felt that Ethan Klein was, how do I say this, inappropriately pushing homosexual men as inappropriate, maybe not inappropriate that he doesn't believe in it, but it was like a joke, kind of, you know. And then there was this whole conversation, and I never got watched this episode because I think they started it and I got so cringed out that I just stopped watching. And this was something that I noticed was common with watching H3. A lot of people go, yeah, I couldn't finish the episode, it was like too cringe. And I'm like, well, then why are we watching it, Queen? Because I watch a lot of other people, you know, and I don't cringe out of their content halfway through ever. If I do, I kind of never watch them again. So what's happening with this? You know, I've never watched like a ContraPoints video, been like so icked that I need to leave, or I've never watched like a Smokey Glow video, or a Megan Ann video, or an Adam McIntyre video, or even like a Foodie Beauty Girl World reaction channel video, or where I've just been so icked that I need to like bounce. You know?
You know, like, it's actually, like, for me, it's very, very rare that I will be, like, watching someone's video and I will just get so, like, I will cringe so bad that I cannot watch it anymore. It's incredibly rare for me. Like, it's certain creators, I don't remember their names because I just stopped watching them after that, but it's incredibly rare for me to do that. Like, I watch, Evangelina Skov, Adam McIntyre, Swoop, people like that. I've never had to come off of their videos because of cringe things, like, never. But like H3, I remember after the Colleen thing, I did try to watch like a couple of their podcasts, but like I couldn't. Like, it was just weird. So I was there like, okay, so I guess I'm not going to be a H3 fan, which kind of glad I'm not.
So what happened essentially was they were talking about like tops and bottoms and that whole concept, and then the chat was pushing back, being like, hey, like, this is starting to sound kind of homophobic or whatever. Dan starts yelling at them, Ethan starts yelling at them, and everybody is really like annoyed about this combativeness where people were just trying to kind of push you in a right direction. So that icked out a lot of people, and I saw that on the Snark Reddit too when there was the post of like, why did you stop watching the show? A lot of people brought up that. There was also, this was a huge one, I'll get to what my end was this segment where they were talking about QT Cinderella, who is a streamer on Twitch, where someone made AI pornography of her, essentially a deepfake video. And she's crying. I also never saw this episode, thank God. I feel like I would have lost it back then, but I mean, I guess not thank God, because I ended up watching for quite a while longer.
Why?
Just look at Ethan's reaction.
Why?
He's laughing.
What is going on with you?
I'm sorry, don't mind me.
She is crying because people were making AI deepfake porn of her, and Ethan is laughing. They are making it a joke.
Like, you were able?
Sounds from their fucking soundboard or whatever the fuck you call it. They're making this situation a joke. This is not a joke.
Look at women who are not selling themselves or benefiting off of
Why?
being seen sexually.
You're a monster, dude.
You guys are crazy.
Why did you do that?
There's a certain
Zach,
point
what
I
the
want to pause
bro?
at. Here. Look at her face. Look at how pissed off she is in this situation. Everyone else is laughing. It's a funny thing to them. That is not a funny thing. I'm pretty sure that's literally a crime. And they're laughing about it. They're playing funny sounds over a video of a woman crying because people were making fake porn of her. I would be pissed off like this too. I probably would have lost my fucking mind if I was in that room.
Just not being aware of like the severity of this like event, I guess, and cognitive dissonance as well that I'm not proud of. I think it was just a lot of it for me too was I didn't have anyone to help me with research at the time. Now Nor helps me, right? I didn't have anybody to help me, but the show had brought into these different episodes that gave me an idea of like research. So for example, like I would not use the H3 videos as research because there's a lot of inaccuracies. But let's say for example, like they were talking about for like Colleen Ballinger or whatever, they would get exclusive interviews I was not able to get ever. They would get a lot of exclusive things I was not able to access. They would.
Yeah, as Adam McIntyre said, I watched his video on this before. I don't think you'd want the exclusive interview with Johnny. Like, of course, exclusive interviews are great. But in that situation, no.
Be able to pay for things I couldn't access. So I would watch them as like a basis of like where to find these things and then kind of expand from there pretty often. So that was sort of what I was even telling myself at the time. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. And then I obviously got to my final straw later that year. But the issue was QT Cinderella was talking about how she felt violated that these videos were being made without her consent and often being positioned as real, which is very, very fair. Then essentially what happened was Ethan messaged the sound guy, Zach, to play Anouk singing Chestnuts over it. And just to give you an idea of like how unserious this is like, I'm gonna cut the audio now because I want to get claimed. But like this is like what that video is and what it looks like, right? So it's like very silly, obviously. So then they sort of apologized for it. It was very weak and people were really not happy with it, and it actually became a meme that like it shifted into Ethan Klein kind of almost separating responsibility to a certain degree by claiming that what happens is he just gets into this like uncontrolled state he refers to as goblin mode. This also was something where he said that if there's another boss, that Ben Shapiro should go first. That's what Ethan Klein said.
Who the fuck says that? Like, actually, who the fuck says that kind of thing? Like, that literally is not something to joke about. None of the shit that Ethan has been joking about in the past couple of years is something to joke about. He has been laughing at serious situations, making jokes about that, which I cannot say on YouTube. Like, he is a horrible person, and I do not understand why people support him.
And I disavow this as a concept, obviously. So that was another event that he considered that goblin mode thing. So he ended up getting this like broadcasting button where Ethan could push it, and it would cut the last 15 seconds, similar to like a censor button on live television. So instead of really addressing, I found the QT Cinderella stuff, he kind of boiled it down to this like goblin mode, right? Then crew members started leaving in the last year. First Cameron Grants, and then Sam. Cameron said that he received another job. He received a job offer closer to where he's from, Massachusetts, and he was moving back. And he also just really, really hated living in California. Now, obviously, you can receive, when you're public-facing figure as well, like Cameron was on the show, you can receive job offers, like, just randomly, right? Like, via email, via whatever. I just wonder, I feel like he was applying for jobs to get that offer. Because I think in the industry that he's in, you have to submit portfolios and stuff.
You do, by the way. In most industries, in content creation and stuff like that, you have to submit portfolios before they'll even consider you. So, if he got another job offer, he was definitely applying.
That's just my tinfoil hat theory, though, in that regard. Then, Sam left. And the vibe of Cameron leaving versus the vibe of Sam leaving was very different. Cameron was very apologetic, he was very sad. Sam was sort of like a moving on to better things, because she began working for QT Cinderella. And in that QT Cinderella clip of the chestnuts thing, and maybe I'll have the image on screen or I'll play the clip or whatever, Sam is visibly extremely upset at Ethan while this is happening. It appears recently that Sam has moved across the country, presumably back to Georgia. So I don't know if she's still working with QT Cinderella, she might just be done with the whole California thing in general, especially because her and Ian broke up. So I think she just kind of wants to leave. But I wonder about that too. Then, you get to the Hassan videos. So what it began from was Ethan Klein started posting Instagram stories with Hassan clips claiming that he is platforming anti-Semitism, Hassan specifically. Now, a big focus of Hassan's content is being very pro-Palestinian. And this is something that Hassan has been doing for years and years and years. He says it's about 10 years of public advocacy. Now, you can say what you want about Hassan, you can say what you want about Ethan. I personally like the secret third option, Sam Cedar. I'm a Sam Cedar stan, I fear. Has he ever done wrong? I don't know. Tell it to your mom. I don't care. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I do actually, I love Sam Cedar. Anyway, that's my secret third option. People are like, oh, it's Hassan or Ethan. I'm like, Sam Cedar. Anyway, so he started talking about how Hassan essentially platforming anti-Semitism on the Twitch platform. I think a lot of this stemming from Frogan being his mod. Somebody who Ethan Klein hates because Frogan was tweeting about October 7th. Ethan Klein disagreed with a lot of her takes. He unfollowed Frogan. Frogan noticed and talked about it in Discord. And essentially said that she would like to support Zionism if that means Ethan Klein would follow her back. As they sort of progress, you get into what people have been referring to as the Instagram story crash out. This has been something that a lot of people have DM'd me wanting to know about. And I've talked about it in private with people, like with text messages and stuff, because some of them have just been so...
Let's read these really quickly. Okay. It's very. Someone tweeted, I don't know how to say that name. I did not mean the Jews, but the Zionists. Do not confuse everyone. I respect every Muslim Jew who stands for the truth, and I will do everything I can to protect him. This is with a screenshot of the H3H3 Productions Instagram story saying, I know you guys don't like me talking about Hassan, and while I appreciate that there is a lot of crossover, I'm grateful to those of you who are able to watch us both. It's impossible for me to ignore that the majority of the people coming from his community, it's something he and his audience refuse to reckon with. Hassan's whitewashing of that Howley kid, who said he wants to spear all Zionists to death, was frankly disgusting. I don't give a fuck that he's seen an episode of One Piece. I'd like to know why he is hanging out with a boat captains of a Chinese cargo vessels, aka a hostage. And as more info has come out about this kid being terrorist affiliate and being anti-Semitic, lots more examples. Hassan has refused to disavow him. The opposite, actually. He continues to prop him up. And then, in response to this tweet, Ethan says, "I'm not confused, buddy. It's your flag that says curse upon the Jews."
DM'd me.
Many Jewish friends and family have reached out to thank me for the show today. I want to thank them for their kind words. I encourage you guys to please check in on your Jewish friends. I think you will be surprised by the amount of anxiety, fear, and isolation they are experiencing, and how genuinely happy they are you asked. Cheers, guys. Thank you for watching.
Wanting to know about. And I've talked about it in private with people.
From, this is a post he put up. The Israeli government is making me sick. Even if Hamas is operating out of civilian building, it doesn't justify the total destruction of that building. It's inhumane. Netanyahu is a piece of shit warmonger and needs to go. As a dual citizen, I love Israel and the Israeli people. They deserve a government that actually believes in peace and not force and violence. The ultra-right Jewish settlers are amongst the greatest provocateurs in the world. They are shameless and hateful, fueled by religious zeal, I don't know how to say that word, and enabled by the Israeli government. I wish the settling and repossession of Palestinian land would stop. I wish the bombing of Gaza would stop. Gazans deserve to live a life free of fear for all those crimes Hamas has committed. We must always remember that they are not Palestine. The Israeli government holds all of the power, and it is on them to stop the violence and show a true willingness for peace. And then he says, from May 2021, before the overnight activists could point to Gaza on the map.
Like with text messages and stuff, because some of them have just been so heinous that I'm just like absolutely...
Okay. If Ethan is so against everything Hassan has been saying, why did he decide to do a political show with him to begin with? Hassan isn't saying anything new. Ethan chose to platform Hassan's politics for a very long time, and now all of a sudden Ethan thinks all these things are ban-worthy. It makes it very hard to believe Ethan is being genuine with his criticism of Hassan. When I made the show with Hassan, I genuinely thought he was just a social democrat, progressive like myself. I had no idea his politics were so radical, and that's my fault. 90% of the time he's shitting on Republicans, and that's what I had seen. But his politics are like a Trojan horse, a veneer of reasonability, with extremely radical views hidden within. The cracks began to appear when we started talking about Ukraine, Taiwan, and Tibet. Once I noticed it, it all began to fall apart. I hold myself accountable for anyone from my audience that was radicalized by him, which is why I'm doing what I can to undo the damage. I've come to see Hassan as MAGA for the left. It's a crazy thing to say. Spinning alternate realities fit his dogmatic view of the world. As someone who has been fighting extremism for many years, I cannot look the other way when it comes from my side of the aisle. I likely have more to say about Hassan. If this is too much for you to stomach, I'm perfectly happy with you unsubscribing. Frankly, shedding some of the more radical portions of our audience is probably a good thing.
Caught aback by this thing's like the...
God, I'm so tired of reading. This was from a cursory glance at the subreddit. This is typical socialist sentiment in America. They are disgusting, hateful trolls that would strip rights from women and LGBT just to undermine liberalism. They want Trump to win because they want to usher in the destruction of our country. In some paranoid fantasy, where communism rises from the ashes of a ruined America. Of course, if that were to happen, it's fascism. That would seize control. And I think they are down with that too. I'm assuming he's talking about Hassan's subreddit there.
Of these posts. So one thing he focuses on is this one Yemeni teenager that Hassan interviewed, who Hassan claims is not a Houthi, who Ethan claims is a Houthi, and then Ethan pulls up all these different posts and stuff, and then claims that all these the Yemeni kid is a Houthi, and Houthi people hate Jews and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of nuances to that, obviously. There's a lot of nuances to the Yemeni teenager as well. I don't want to really get into that because I think that would take a lot more digging than this conversation I want to have is requiring, and I think is something that I want you to be able to discern on your own. But there ends up just being more posts, right? So Ethan Klein does this show where he condemns this episode where he condemns Hassan, talks about all this proof that he has, that he platforms anti-Semitism, and then starts saying, many Jewish friends and family, I'll have this picture on screen too, obviously. Many Jewish friends and family have reached out to thank me for the show today. I want to thank them for their kind words. I encourage you guys to please check in on your Jewish friends. I think you'll be surprised.
Yeah, we just read that.
Amount of anxiety and isolation you're experiencing, and genuinely and how genuinely happy they are that you ask. Cheers and thanks you guys for watching. So a huge premise of this Hassan episode 2 was something that I was very frustrated when I was looking at, where one of the claims that Ethan Klein kind of hinges on is that anti-Semitism is something that is accepted in society, but all other forms of racism are not. So there's three main aspects here. For one, Ethan Klein claims that 90% of Jews are Zionists. Secondly, they claim that using the word term Zionist is in turn anti-Semitic. So these two things end up being linked, right? Tertiarily,
It's not, by the way.
claim of anti-Semitism being the worst and being the highest rise and being whatever. Now, obviously, anti-Semitism as a concept is very ingrained into Western culture and in cultures around the world, which is really, really obviously evil and unfortunate and tragic, right? And again, I've talked about this when I talk about fringe conspiracy theories, I talk about right-wing politics, I talk about the red pill, I talk about all that kind of stuff. So I've demonstrated that as a fact in the conversations I've had before. The thing is, and this was the same argument I had with somebody in my personal life last Christmas, was, sure, yes, but do you also think being Arab in America is a cakewalk? I think this is a nuance that's missing in most of Ethan Klein's conversations. And when we talk about these types of things and these differences, I bring up a Bill Maher video. My best friend, who I definitely don't want to play Minecraft with, Bill Maher. Bill Maher did a video, and I'm going to look up right now on my computer as I'm saying this, what year this was. Because I just saw it on Twitter recently. What was it called? So this was a video from, 11 months ago. Oh my god, okay. I lied. Well, I didn't lie. Bill Maher posted it on his YouTube channel 11 months ago. So he's still co-signed it, okay? So this is still fully co-signed. It is called the Muslim Dior Fashion Show, which is clipped from the But I'm Not Wrong HBO stand-up comedy special. Now, I'm not going to link it because I hate Bill Maher. And I'm also not going to...
That's fair.
I don't want anybody to really look at it, and I can't clip it because I'm going to get claimed by HBO. But all I'm going to do is just put a still image on the screen. This flew, and didn't only fly, was incredibly successful. This is a representation in the media on HBO of mocking hijabi women. If you wear burqas and all that kind of stuff, right? Being Muslim, big part of it too, right? Because Bill Maher's whole shtick is the zero IQ take of, if you believe in a religion, you're an idiot. Despite the fact that all of my arguments as Bill Maher hinge on the exact same structural, conceptual frameworks, and I've never had an original thought in my life. But my father-in-law's gonna watch this and I'm gonna have a really bad Christmas. Anyway, there is even a line where essentially a girl shows her ankles, like, because they're also all too short, which is besides the point. And then he, like, makes a joke about how she'll, like, be unalive, if you will, right? These representations can exist in American media and be openly accepted. I've known people in my personal life that are from, like, rural areas that will see a person who is a hijabi, for example, and then be worried that they're going to be unalived by them.
That is such a stupid thing to be worried about. And it is literally just because of how the media presents Muslims and people, hijabi women, you know? Like, that is such a stupid thing to cross your mind first. Like, it's actually incredibly stupid.
Via, like, extremist terrorist tactics. I'm not going to get into that because I think it's just so heinous to even discuss. Islamophobia is so intensely ingrained in especially post 9/11 North American culture, but also Western culture, that I just genuinely don't understand the cognitive dissonance. Ethan Klein also goes off about this FBI statistic about hate crimes to certain marginalized groups, putting all these statistics to be like, the Jewish struggle is the undermined one. When media representations like this can exist, like all of George Bush's presidency can exist, the sentiments towards people from the Middle East still exist. And I just think that there's a dissonance there. And that dissonance is the main point of frustration with that audience. Because it's one thing for Ethan Klein to go, I don't like Benjamin Netanyahu, I don't like what's going on in Palestine, I don't like any of this. But to then, every other statement is an argument against the people who support it. Because of the 10% of things you don't agree on, you openly attack pro-Palestinian creators on a regular basis, demand that their sponsors be taken away, demand that their revenue be taken away, demand their platform be taken away. The actions aren't aligning properly. Because I think the biggest issue is, Ethan Klein often talks about the eradication of the Jewish people being an ideology of the Houthi, of Hezbollah, whatever. Which again, are instances of that being true, yes. But doesn't seem to also acknowledge that it is not right for the preservation of Israel to come at the cost of other people. Because he always says they want 8 million Jewish people to be displaced from Israel. And then, that's the biggest issue. Which again, I don't think is a lot of the arguments that a lot of people have. Are there, of course...
Nobody has said that. I mean, or at least people Ethan has been attacking has not said that. So, like, I don't... Like, he might be getting that from somewhere else, yes. But nobody that he has attacked has said that. And I know that because I watch a lot of the people he attacks. Nobody has said that.
Of course, people who are anti-Semitic on the left that are saying, yes. But also, it doesn't mean that your arguments, your absolute arguments are correct either. You see what I'm saying? Because there is, to a certain degree, a nuance to these things. And a nuance that I'm so scared that I'm not relaying properly. But the preservation of the Jewish people in Israel should not be coming at the cost of Palestinians. Shouldn't be coming at the cost of Lebanese people.
Exactly.
Shouldn't be coming at the cost of Yemeni people. And that's the main point the audience isn't liking. Because Ethan seems to be pushing the contrary. And you can add in your little anecdote that you don't like it, but when everything else surrounding it seems to not relate, that's why people are feeling the way that they're feeling. Ethan Klein requests nuance for his takes, but asserts his own opinions on others. For example, the Twitch panel with the Love Sabra category, talking about the Habibi Pass. This is a joke that can be taken too far. It is also a joke that I've seen in other contexts. Hassan brought up a tier list of having, for example, with Black Americans, who's invited to the cookout, versus something like people who make box mac and cheese or something. I can't remember the analogy, but anyway. Also, Ethan Klein uplifts creators recently that do not support Palestine. For example, Lonerbox, who's like this, with Destiny, who literally debated Norman Finkelstein on the fact that the is okay. And I'm going to have a little bit of censoring because I want the video to have reach, not get age restricted. But they're just contrary to each other, right?
Also, I do want to say I think it's stupid that YouTube makes people censor those things, because those are things that people should be talking about. Obviously, I cannot say it, because I would like my video to reach people. But, like, you know, if we want to have an actual conversation about it, I think it's so stupid that we have to censor so many things. Because, like, we have so many words to replace things now that, like, if you're trying to have a serious conversation about self-unaliving, you see how unserious that sounds. Unaliving yourself. That sounds stupid. But we can't say the other words on YouTube.
Lonerbox specifically pissed me off because, for example, and this is a clip that was circling as well, Lena, AB, and Olivia ask about 8, they ask about the civilians, and Lonerbox just keeps going, well, I'm not understanding your question, and then just dancing around it. Because he doesn't have an answer. Because it's morally reprehensible. There's also the concept of grouping Jewish people with Zionism that many people pointed out in itself can be deemed as anti-Semitic. I think Ethan Klein has openly attacked anti-Zionist Jewish people, such as someone who was on Hassan's stream. He also says that it's really it's giving gaslighting and it's really demeaning for people to suggest that Ethan Klein talks to a Jewish person. It's because you keep saying when people criticize you that they don't understand because they're not Jewish. So then they go, okay, well then talk to a Jewish person. There are anti-Zionist Jews, Sam Cedar. And you won't do it. So it's like you're just constantly saying...
Again, Ethan will not do anything that he knows. He knows will not help his case. He will not talk to people who he knows have valid and can't think of the fucking word now. Like actual facts about these things. He'll only spread his misinformation. Shit that he gets from the American media. Which the American media, by the way, supports this stuff.
All I want to essentially relaying is like all you want to do is complain. And all you want to do is just be agreed with. Which I guess to a certain degree everybody wants. I just think that's as much of the politics I can get into. But things have clearly been going badly. And people have also been joking a lot about how Ethan Klein, like enemies, have begun to like supersede him. And this has continued on the Instagram crash out, and I have screenshots for that too. Such as Trisha Paytas going on SNL, and apparently Broadway? I'm not sure about Broadway one, like how the logistics of that whole thing. Hassan also did a speech about Israel and Palestine at Cambridge University. And talking about Trisha, people have been claiming that Ethan Klein has made the segment about him, saying that...
I do apologize for that noise. I don't know what it is because it's not my phone. I know it's not my phone. My phone doesn't connect to my light, but my light has a speaker in it, and you can connect your device to it. I don't know what is connecting to it, though. I have a feeling it's something my stepdad has, so I will check with that tomorrow, just to see, because that noise, it scares me so bad. Like, I'd be here playing, like, the mortuary assistant with my headphones on. I'd all of a sudden hear that noise, like, because I'd have both these parts on, and the mortuary assistant turned, like, all the way up. Well, not all the way, but, you know, like, loud enough for me to be able to, like, know where things are. And that would happen, and I'd just, like, jump. Like, that's actually really annoying. Because, like, the first sound you heard, that was it being disconnected. That one, connected. I don't know what's connecting to it, though, because it happens, like, every single night, but nothing plays.
He thinks it's really bad that the stories of me posted where Trisha Paytas' ex-podcast host said he cut off his arm if she ended up on SNL, and now he's got to cut off his arm. So people have been talking about how Ethan Klein is essentially, like, miserable and pandering and whining and whatever. So he started weirdly posting on his Instagram story just stuff like, everything is pointless. About to enter my Joker era. And then has this as his gotcha, which has seemed to have been the vibe of a lot of recent months. Psych spelt wrong. Bitch, I'm glowing. Again, reminiscent of the vibe that there's a deep insecurity and fear. And Ethan Klein also revealed that the revenue from November had gone down 10% from the previous, what was their lowest month by 10% or whatever since this year for the podcast.
You're pushing all of your subscribers
how
out.
serious that is, because it's November. Last month, I made 3 videos, I think. Not a lot of videos. We did not make a lot of videos in November. I was tired. I transitioned jobs very, very late October. So I made one on October 28th.
My
2,
birthday.
3, 4 videos in November. I made double what I made most months in November. And obviously I had a video get over 100,000 views. It's an epic. Thank you for that, by the way. So that obviously helped. But double is not proportionate. So if your revenue is lower in November, that means it's going to be exponentially lower come January. November should never be your worst month. November and December you should be juicing on nothing.
Yeah.
I'm also, again, just the 2 videos I put out this month, 2 videos, it is projecting that I will again make double what I make in a normal month.
Yeah.
I also forgot.
That's because November as well, I believe, you know, you're buying stuff to give people for Christmas, you know, ads come up a lot more, you know, people make a lot more money from doing videos in November and December. Just because of the ads.
Forgot to mention, and this is where I'll end off my last thing, is my personal leaving point. Which again, does not contribute well to Ethan's claims. Aaron Bushnell last year, or earlier this year, maybe in January, I'll actually look up the date of that. February 25th of this year. So this is when I checked out. Aaron Bushnell self-immolated. Self-immolation means to set yourself on fire in protest. Ethan Klein, and I was actually a member at this time, because what happened was, when the BBTV fallout happened in 2023, Ethan Klein was talking about it on his members' videos. So I signed up for the membership. And then I forgot that I had it. And then I tried to cancel it a couple times on my PC, and it wouldn't work. It would just refresh, and I would still be joined, and it wouldn't work. Month and month and month. I would just randomly remember, because I was told that you couldn't cancel it on your phone. One day, I tried on my phone, and it instantly worked. Right after this Aaron Bushnell stuff. When I was like, you know what, I'm done with everything. I'm
Yeah, no, it's easier to cancel on your phone.
because of the comments that Ethan Klein was making, essentially mocking Aaron Bushnell's efforts and the impact that he had. And if I can find the clip on that, I'll insert it here.
My first reaction is this. It was absolutely insane how he stood the whole time. That was crazy. I don't know how humanly possible. Again, not for this uncouth, but he's a champ at burning I mean, that sounds bad, but he did it really good. Does that sound bad? We have to make levity of things. Does that sound bad? That he's really good. I mean that as a compliment. What the f are you guys angry about, you weirdos? What did I do? My God, stop. They just said, oh, here's Ethan. No, I don't understand what Ethan said.
The disrespect of that effort and the mocking of the concepts and the harshness and lack of humanity really highlighted to me those feelings I had acquired from those other instances and the core of where I felt like they all came. And that was my end point. That was when I said, you know what, I'm having a lot of cognitive dissonance about this. And I don't appreciate this content. I don't appreciate how it makes me feel. I don't appreciate the impact that it has. So with that, I'm going to conclude, and hopefully my address doesn't end up on Reddit. This is just my nuanced conversation on my feelings about it, and I hope that you appreciated it. And I'll see you when I see you. Bye.
Oh, and no, and fucking with them, oh, what? You gonna get fucked over. Rarries and Rovers. These hoes.
Okay. Hold on. I'm just fixing my lip liner because I noticed it was coming off. Okay, we're gonna go to full face. So, I have a question. Did we see any problem with that video? Like, an actual valid problem that Ethan would have the right to come after the way, like Ethan and his fans would have the right to come after the way that Mika looks. The way that Mika talks. Did we see an actual reason for them to do that? No, because it was all valid criticism. Recently, like especially recently, I have noticed, because like I don't really follow Ethan that often, I just see videos about him, and I'm like, okay, he's still on this fucking train. He, honestly, I don't know what's happening. I think he's literally just going insane. Like, honest to God, that's what I think at the moment. Because I'm stuck. Hold on. How the fuck did that happen? Okay. He has started coming after creators a lot more recently. And while that's fine if they're making videos about you, come after them all you want. You know? Defend yourself. But the way he's coming after them is weird. Like, as we saw, he called Markiplier a psychopath for no reason other than the fact that Markiplier unfollowed and muted him on, what was it, Twitter? He comes after, I remember he tried to call Adam McIntyre a creep because Ethan's grown-ass mother, Ethan's mother, was talking to Adam, like, texting Adam about, like, things and, like, inviting him to dinner and stuff, I think. And he decides to call Adam a creep. I believe Adam was, like, freshly 18 or something, he said. You're blaming the freshly 18-year-old for that? But yeah, he started coming after, like, creators a lot more recently. And honestly, I believe a lot of people believe that we are starting to see the end of Ethan Klein's career. Because, honestly, I do believe that's what we were seeing. Like, Ethan, he's always, like, had trouble taking criticism. That is something I've always noticed. But, especially recently, he has, like, full on, like, just started crashing out. He's losing it. And, like, while it might be entertaining to watch for some people, it's also incredibly concerning. Like, how bad it's gone. Because, like, I wouldn't come after someone for valid criticism. I would take that criticism and I would try to change myself. Because that's what you do when someone criticizes you. You try to figure out what they are criticizing and you try and change that. But Ethan, he sees his criticism as a direct attack, even though most of it is constructive. And, like, that is just so stupid. Because, like, he could easily not be in this situation if he was just, like, just being normal, really. Like, literally just being normal. So, yeah. But I think I am going to end this video here, because it is now nearly 1 a.m. And I've been recording for 1 hour and 14 minutes now. So, if you like this video, or if you want me to make more on this topic, obviously I kind of just went into this, like, unscripted, didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I just wanted to talk about this, because I am, like, genuinely, like, I'm not going to say loving it, but, like, it's entertaining to watch, but it's also incredibly concerning to watch, you know? So, yeah, if you want me to dive more into this, I will. Just, you know, say that down in the comments. You know, if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe, like, share with your friends who might be interested in this kind of thing. So, I will see you in the next video whenever the fuck I decide to do that. Goodbye.